Hello everyone and welcome back to our reading of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We are going to pick up where we left off. We finished before the midterm break on chapter 19 and today we are starting on chapter 20 and it is the Great Gum Machine. So let's continue to read. Mr. Wonka led the party over to a gigantic machine that stood in the very center of the inventing room. It was a mountain of gleaming metal that towered high above the children and their parents. Out of the very top of it, there sprouted hundreds and hundreds of thin glass tubes, and the glass tubes all curled downwards and came together in a bunch and hung suspended over an enormous round tub as big as a bat. "Here we go," cried Mr. Wonka, and he pressed 3 different buttons on the side of the machine. A second later, a mighty grumbling sound came from inside it, and the whole machine began to shake most frighteningly, and steam began hissing out of it all over, and then suddenly the watchers noticed that runny stuff was pouring down the sides of all the hundreds of little tiny gas tubes and squirting out into the great tub below. And in every single tube, the runny stuff was of a different colour, so that all the colours of the rainbow, and many others as well, came sloshing and splashing into the tub. It was a lovely sight. And when the tub was nearly full, Mr. Wonka pressed another button and immediately the runny stuff stopped running out of the tubes, and the rumbling sound disappeared and the whizzing-whirring noise took its place, and then a giant whizzer started whizzing round inside the enormous tub, mixing up all the different coloured liquids like an ice cream soda. Gradually the mixture began to froth. It became frothier and frothier, and it turned from blue to white to green to brown to yellow and then back to blue again. "Watch," said Mr. Wonka. Click went the machine, and the whizzer stopped whizzing, and now there came a sort of sucking noise, and very quickly all the blue frothy mixture in the huge basin was sucked back into the stomach of the machine. There was a moment of silence. Then a few queer rumblings were heard, then silence again. Then suddenly the machine let out a monstrous mighty groan, and at the same moment a tiny drawer, no bigger than the drawer in a slot machine, popped out of the side of the machine. And in the drawer there lay something so small and thin and grey that everyone thought it must be a mistake. The children and their parents stared at the little grey strip lying in the drawer. "You mean that's all?" said Mike Teavee, disgusted. "You mean that's all?" said Mike Teavee, disgusted. "That's all," answered Mr. Wonka, gazing proudly at the result. "Don't you know what it is?" There was a pause. Then suddenly Violet Beauregarde, the goofy gum-chewing girl, let out a yell of excitement. "By gum, it's gum!" she shrieked. "It's a stick of chewing gum!" "Right you are," cried Mr. Wonka, slapping Violet hard on the back. "It's a stick of gum. It's a stick of the most amazing and fabulous and sensational gum in the world." So that is the end of chapter 20. So Violet Beauregarde is very, very excited because Willy Wonka has developed this special type of gum. So she is going to be really, really intrigued. We all know that she is the girl that has records for chewing gum, and she's the girl who puts the gum behind her ear so that she was able to keep it for as long as possible. So tomorrow's chapter is called Goodbye Violet. Oh, so I don't know if that is a good or a bad sign for Violet. As we've seen, we've already lost Augustus Gloop within the factory, so I wonder, will we see the end of the road for Violet as well? So I'm excited to get going on that chapter again tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed today's chapter. That's all for today. Thanks very much.